Anavari Publishing is an independent publishing startup for visual novels and comics. Victor Llamas is the CEO of Anavari Publishing. Chris Mariano is the VP of Marketing at Anavari Publishing. So, hello Victor. Hello Chris. Welcome sa Startup Podcast.
Well, thank you for having us here, no, Johnny. So, una-una nagpapasalamat kami for giving us the opportunity to share what we have to the community.
Of course, on behalf of my team, thank you so much also to Johnny. No, he also gave us a platform to actually showcase what we got in the startup podcast. Especially, it's a very big, nice podcast. I've actually listened to a couple of your episodes, especially with the one with the medical medical startup. That was pretty nice. I actually finished that from top to bottom. Great show. Thank you so much, Johnny, for having us here.
Yeah, thank you. And we're very excited now to learn more about Anavari Publishing. And actually, personally, I want to know more about publishing, the model itself, the business itself, and also what you're doing now. You're venturing into the digital comic space and even the NFT space. So I hope we can know more about that no, in this conversation. So let's start with a question. Ano nga ba ang Anavari Publishing? So maybe Victor can help us answer that.
Well, Anavari Publishing originally is comic book. It's a comic book startup company. In the beginning, it was actually not an NFT company. It was just focused on comic book stories, building literal, just comic books, stories that people could enjoy about superheroes, about slightly mga detective stories or something like overpower stories. All of it. It's a mismatch of fantasy land wherein people could actually enjoy. I mean, like, people are not really much of a stranger to this. We have Marvel, we have DC, we have a lot of already out there. So it's practically a comic book in the first. And then, because I think you need to know about me and Chris, we also have a background in the blockchain or crypto space years before. So I have like a passion between crypto space and comic books. So on that time, I did not see that one day that these books will be uploaded to the blockchain as if we have now. No. But it was originally a comic book because I really love comic books that time. Ever since I was a boy, I love watching Superman. I love watching Wonder Woman. So technically, to put it in a nutshell, originally, it's a comic book company that we actually try to make amazing stories as much as we can, and we're trying to represent something in the space, not just here locally, but hopefully we try to reach the space of offshore communities that love superhero stories. So yeah, and then recently, as the technology evolves, we decided to merge NFT and comic book. So we actually decided to make it a digital comics and NFT publishing startup. So
yeah, that's really exciting, no? Mixing up those two industries nga, yung art space with the comic industry and then yung NFT industry. I think kasi now, like, NFT is all about authentication basically, no? So if this digital artists can really authenticate themselves, can really publish and own the comics that they produce, that they do, and maybe they can earn from it, diba? So somehow it can empower pa yung industry. Punta muna tayo dun sa may publishing part, no, nitong Anavari Publishing. So, can you just tell us muna, paano ba nag-work ang publishing? I'm unfamiliar kasi sa buong process na to eh. So, maybe let's start like first, saan nangagaling itong mga comics na pinapublish in your company? Sino itong mga artists? So, yeah, can we have some answers to this question?
Yeah. Technically, I'll be giving just a very, very quick background about how the publishing works. Okay, publishing is a very, very big, broad market in the book space. No, in books you have many genres. You have kids books, you have comic books, you have novels, you have information books, motivational, Sometimes I even read books that are very unmotivating in a realistic point of view books. No, these books were written by independent writers who has a manager, and then they partner up with publishing companies like similar to Penguin Books. There are what else? There are many brands besides Penguins that I've met. I just can't remember as of the moment, but there are many. So it depends on the person. Sometimes they do self-publishing, like they can do it on their own, or they can partner with big major companies. In the case of Anavari, we don't partner with major book companies. It's totally an independent company. Like we do our own thing. We publish. We we copyright our own materials. So like for example, if you're a guy, let's say, hey, pare, we have a superhero written, maybe you could join it in your universe. We could actually say yes and make it join in the universe. So we will decide if you could be part of us or not, because we're building this ecosystem, like its own very own omniverse. So if we like it, if you like your story, hey bro, this story is kind of cool, I think it will be beneficial for our storyline, we let you in. So we talk about the legalities outside of it, like how is it gonna be, like what's gonna happen. That's how we operate. But publishing in general is more of either self, or you partner with books and they will do the distribution for you via hardbound, softbound, whatever, or they have partners to distribute it to wherever you want. But nowadays, modern book publishing are doing the digital space already. Like if you're familiar with Amazon Kindle, Lulu Books, there are many types of books that are already catering to this market already. No? Although there are some people who doesn't really go for digital books. They like the smell of old books, like when they amoy daw yung libro na nakaka-intoxicate. So sabi ko, yeah. And there are really good things naman talaga of physical books compared to digital ones. So it's kind of like the industry is playing only around in that part. No?
Yeah. I used to read digital comics, no, although not I have to be honest na not really mga Filipino comics, but yung mga manga. So I think a lot of Filipinos are familiar with reading comics online, not just offline. Going to the comic side naman, I think that's very interesting, no, that with independent publishing and also now with NFTs, yung mga artists nga, they can independently publish their own art, their own literary pieces. How can an aspiring artist, if ever, join the community of Anavari? Kasi I think it's more of a community that you're building and an ecosystem nga. So, parang meron bang specific genre or specific criteria for an artist to join Anavari Publishing?
I think the marketing will be able to answer that.
Yes, Chris.
Okay, so regarding if they can join the community, usually, di ba, people go for the skills. But what people often forget is the personality. Skills can be honed, but personality, dala-dala mo yan eh. So, let me give you a brief background kung how does it work, how we put artists in our team. Kasi we had a lot of artists before who are very skilled but bagsak sa personality. So, my background before is, no, actually my background right now is I'm a therapist. So I do counseling sessions and may ina-adhere akong specific perspective. So yung background ko na yun, so I'm very keen and sensitive pagdating sa personality ng tao. So some of these artists are all the skill. Magaling na magaling. Mas magaling siya sa'yo, mas magaling siya sa akin. But really, a narcissist. May mga ganong personality that they demand so much or they inflate themselves so much, hindi naman makapag-deliver. So, we are blessed of having an artist who is skilled and humble at the same time. So, since we're building a community in which the artist, the owner, yung mga tao sa loob are authentic people. When you say authentic people, these people, they do not pretend who they are. They do not inflate themselves too much. Hindi rin sila nangangain ng ibang tao. So that's a problem kapag sobrang skilled ka. Pag sobrang skilled ka, you would often, mas magaling ako sa'yo. Sarado ka na. You're not gonna learn anymore. Kakainin mo yung mga kasama mo na, hindi, mas magaling ako, yung opinion ko lang tama. Mahirap kasi mag-build ng community or ng ecosystem na ego-based. It often collapses on itself. Kasi nga, ang bigat-bigat ng ego and hindi nasasatisfy yun. Parang black hole yun ng mga ngain lang ng mga ngain.
And tsaka maganda sana nga kung bawat isang artist sa community is cooperative at actually supportive of each other para sama-sama kumbaga aangat lahat in the comic industry. Can I just know about the business model or kumbaga how publishing works, no? How Anavari Publishing works. Like how do the artists and how do you earn money from this? And even yung sales tsaka maybe distribution. So how does it happen? Can you just get a picture like yung operation side of and everything of this?
Yeah, of course. So I'll just keep it really simple. Technically, we decided to choose the platform of Amazon. The comic. Let's go first to the publishing part of the books. The books alone first. So the books, we decided to publish it on platforms digitally with Amazon. We're deciding to go with Lulu Books, pero we're still on the conversations with them. And from there, just like any retailers, we would actually sell the books from there. So how does the artist earn from us? Well, we have in-house artists kasi. We don't do like yung what as of the moment like what Marvel does. They just consign their writers. They consign some of their artists. I know some of the few artists from Marvel. I've met some of them in one of the events. So parang ganun yung style nila. I can't name drop them here kasi syempre brand yung mga yon eh.
Yeah, sure.
So ngayon they earn through us based on salary based sila.
Okay.
Salary based. So we pay them and then they do their job, and then if it's really well taken care of and maganda, then we give them extra things that we can. Like we really take care of them. That's how they earn from us. Now, on the terms of like for example, if we outsourced an artist, they could earn, we will still pay them commission based, or like for example, they have a project or project based, like, hey bro, there's this character that I need you to build, and kasi minsan yung mga artists nahihirapan na rin sila sa sobrang workload. So what we do is like we consign it outside and then we pay them project based. But if on the terms naman na there's a guy who created a character and he doesn't want to be like us, what we offer them is like, yeah, sure, you could join the Anavari Universe, but not to the point that they will be part of the whole company or be part of the board, no? They could just like have their character in, and then if their character works, it sells out, we give them payments, and we also give them like royalty rights.
Yeah.
So we pay their royalties as well. No? That's one way of earning Anavari's platform of business models that how we could earn. And then the other one is yung NFTs. We create arts. Actually, it's form of a crowdfunding na rin for us. So we will post them on OpenSea, Nifty Gateway, and many more platforms. We release different types of NFT arts for people to purchase and collect. Because I think you need to know about comic books. Collecting is a big market.
Yeah, actually.
Super big. Like first appearances. Marvel actually releases their comic books in an app called VEVE. VEVE. So they buy it. It's based on a certain chain on the crypto space, and it has actual value. So before, for me, in my opinion, the business when Marvel put up their digital comics in the Marvel app, it is selling, yes, but people are still looking for the traditional printed comic books because that has value, and that was the missing ingredient in books.
Yeah.
It doesn't have monetary value, and the blockchain gave that opportunity to have that kind of value. That's why we decided to make it an NFT digital comic space. So that's how our business models works for now. We just keep it simple. We earn through NFTs, and we earn through third-party publishing companies like Amazon or Lulu Books or something like that.
Yeah, it's really true, no, that yung collecting aspect kumbaga na nitong comic industry, ito din yung nagbibigay value sa buong ecosystem, sa buong industry. Like for example, some people even keep yung minted, yung hindi pa nga nabubuksan minsan na comics, di ba? Na they really keep it, and somehow in the future maybe nag-rise up yung price niya like times 10, times 100, depende really sa kung gaano na baka valuable pa, kasi hindi na nagre-release ng ganun pang ng ganun pang issue. So yeah, if like what you said, if it's like the first appearance of this particular superhero or particular character, especially na ang layo na sa story, no. You also mentioned, no, that Anavari is a universe and that different artists can have their own different superheroes, and then nagsasama-sama sila into the story, into the Anavari universe nga, like what Marvel and DC does. Can you just know about like the community now? Gano'n na ba karaming artists? Gano'n na ba karaming superheroes? And maybe can we just know, sino ba itong mga superheroes na nandito? Sino na ba yung mga naipanganak na superheroes dito sa Anavari Publishing? And maybe like community including
I could mention only a few kasi the others were still working on the copyright, so hindi ko pa siya masabi. This is at the back a concept art of a hero. But hindi ito yung pinaka-main namin. He's actually one of the characters inside. He is actually nameless. We're trying to give him a name yet. But our main is actually Uragon. He's our main product. Uragon is technically a archangel and partly human. So that was our storyline. Although I'm not gonna say it out all here kasi syempre they have to get the book if they want to get to know Uragon, no? But definitely Uragon, the Legend of Earth's New Guardian Angel. That's our very first product that we are gonna be releasing. We also have Father Pirlo. Father Pirlo is a priest from the Vatican. His job is to actually sequester. And not only sequester, but to actually gather materials that are not of Earth as being kept inside the Vatican, and they're not saying anything about it. Like we have materials, kumbaga sa Marvel meron tayong tinatawag na vibranium. Meron din tinatago ang church na mga ganong secrets na ang tagapamahala is si Father Pierre. He has his own run. And we have several characters that we are still working on the copyright. So hindi ko pa siya masabi.
Yeah, sure. And where can we avail of these books ba, if ever, in the future also? So where can we buy offline and even online? Like maybe if listeners and even if me, I want to buy. So where can we find these books? Maybe Chris can give an answer to this question.
So eventually, the comics, the NFT comics would be available through meron sa Amazon. So since they're the main platform na gagamit, Comixology, but may different comics, different artwork. Syempre kapag sa NFT siya i-release, it's something na hindi masyado pang masa. Since NFT, di ba parang sa Axie may value siyang sarili. May sarili siyang identity, like a digital footprint. So pag ni-release yung comics na yon sa loob ng OpenSea or the art, therefore, you could consider it as a collector's item already.
Yeah. So, in the book space, you can grab it on Comixology. That's one. And then the NFTs, you can grab it at OpenSea and Nifty Gateway.
Yeah. So, imagine if you got the first edition. Then, kinip mo siya. So, ang maganda doon, if you're going to be the consumer and you're going to buy it, sige, kumita na kami doon. But hinold mo yung comics na yun and tumaas yung value. Sa'yo na yun. If nag-decide kang ibenta on a really high price, kasi it's art eh. So we know naman art, it goes up. It appreciates over time.
Yeah, speaking of I want to know your opinion lang, no. Speaking of like the art space and art industry in the Philippines and even yung comic industry, do you think marami bang tao talaga, marami bang Pilipino yung possibly, I mean, I don't know much kasi I support Filipino comics. I actually own many of the like for example sila Paul Medina Jr., if even
Paul Medina.
sila Kiko Machine, ganyan yung mga ganyang comics. Pero do you think like the majority of the Filipinos are really into comics and even yung ganitong genre like the fantasy superhero, I'm not sure how to give a name to that genre, that universe kind of genre. So what do you think lang of the possible, I mean ano yung parang nakikita nyo community that will adapt the arts by Anavari?
So when you say art, no, Filipino community, so sige, isa-isahin natin yan. So these are very interesting topics that you brought up. So sige, simulan natin sa comics. Nag-pave way for the Filipino comics, the art. Let's give credit where it's due, 13, nang nalabas siya sa Netflix.
I also own all the comic
diba?
books ng 13. Yeah.
Sa 13. So dun pa lang, makikita mo that the Filipino community is ready to adapt. Kasi nagbago yung tema at flavor. Before, sanay tayo sa Tina-Tinapay. Diba? Sa mga funny comics. Yung mga ganun na very lighthearted. Now, 13 offered a different perspective. So, medyo seryoso yun eh. And for us, it meant that people are now, willing to accept na baka it might work. That they would appreciate something homebrewed. Kasi ang ganda ng reception ng 13. So, we're gonna give them credit where it's due. And regarding naman sa art, medyo tayo, mixed feelings tayo dyan. So, the thing about the Filipino mindset is that onti-onti nag-i-improve tayo. But the problem is, pag sinabing local, may mentality ng Pilipino na, ay, madoy, galing Pilipinas. So the colonial mentality is still there that they don't really appreciate local brands. So I think it's not only in the art industry, kung hindi sa many facets. So I consider artists are inventors. Inventors din sila of beauty, art. And tingnan mo, majority of Filipino scientists pinapirate ng ibang bansa, or rather, hindi naman pinapirate, nagmamass exodus sila, even our nurses and doctors. One, hindi walang support na matino. They're not being appreciated where they should be appreciated. Second, so, with the advent ng Netflix, yung Filipino cinema, lumaki ka ba dun sa mga FPJ, kaya mo to, kaya ko to, Maricel Soriano, mga ganun before? Have you watched those movies before?
Secret. Anyway, go ahead.
Yeah, ito yung mga palabas na I grew up with. So, when I was young, parati ko siyang napapanood. So, Cinema One, Pinoy Blockbuster. Pero as time goes by, biglang nawawala sila. The movie industry here is hindi na buhay, kumbaga. So, kapag hindi buhay ang media industry ng Pilipino when it comes to movie, sumusunod kasi yung art. So, it's either iba na yung timpla din ng tao ngayon or hindi talaga nabibigyan ng suporta. So, let me give you an example sa Germany. For example, ikaw bibigay ka ng art. May art ka maganda. May 4 na papasok doon that's considered successful kapag nakita nila artwork mo and they will support that. So, grabe mag-support ang ibang bansa sa mga artists nila. Mas mataas ang value ng artist outside the Philippines. Sa Philippines kasi, ay, wala namang pera dyan eh. Di ba yung ganong mindset? Well, in fact, pupunta ka sa ibang bansa, these people are rich.
Okay. I'll answer it differently.
Yeah, sure.
Wait, ulitin lang natin yung question, Johnny, just to make sure na tama yung sasagot ko. The question is about the support that comic book industry have and the artists, right? Okay. Ito yung take ko dyan, ha. Many artists are here in the Philippines. Actually, Marvel's workforce and DC's workforce are actually a lot of Filipinos doing the art. Okay. I know one of them I've met, Harvey Tulibao.
Yeah.
Who's working on Iron Man and working on Green Lantern. I have his copy of his few runs
And
here.
there are actually a lot of visual art agencies dito sa Pilipinas. No? Now we
Sobra.
outsource actually. I mean, we give out.
We outsource. Ogie and the Cockroaches, dito dati. I've met him before in one of the startup talks. Ben 10, na-meet ko rin yung Filipino din. So, you know, when it comes to the artist, hindi tayo nagkulang. Because most of the Hollywood's workforce comes from here. Dito nila in-outsource. I know because I've met some of them already. Ngayon, when it comes in terms of support, is the Philippines ready to support this type of stuff? They've been supporting this fantasy for a long time. Kaya nga meron nga tayong mga otaku, di ba? Otaku, you have the anime lovers, you have the cosplayers. It's a huge market. Sobrang huge. But the thing is, the only thing for me, in my opinion, yeah, it's great that they support. Like it's good. Pero yung patronage ba, that's a different thing for me. Kasi yung, to give support, yeah, I can give you support. I can give Johnny support. But yung patronage, yung tipo bang magsusubscribe talaga ako kahit may bayad yung YouTube channel mo. Yung pera, iba yon.
Yeah.
People here kasi in this country, sa bansa natin na, if you don't mind, this is my opinion, no? Magkano bang isang comic books? Isang comic book would cost you around 250 pesos, 350, 450. Pag mga limited edition run, 650, 750. Minsan may 2,000 pa. Yung ganon, ang iisipin ng Pilipino, ay pare, I would rather buy a rice na lang or ulam or something like that. And they would tend, what they do, meron din tinatawag na bootleg mentality. Download mo na lang sa internet, pre. Yeah, they can support. But the patronage is another question.
Yeah.
So yun yung hirap dito eh. And I hate to admit it, yung intellectual property rights natin dito, hindi pa ganun kalakas. Kaya nga maraming artist na mga music artist, di ba, na magagaling pero hindi masyadong nagiging rich kasi yung kanilang rights of their music hindi masyadong natututukan ng pansin. So, hindi sila masyadong nag-earn sa kanilang artistry. So, this country, kung support lang, meron. There will be. But as to patronage and to actually, you know, give a safe ecosystem for artists alike, that's for me, in my personal take, that's still questionable for me.
Yeah. It's true, no? Kasi meron nga talagang, actually, napakarami natin talent. And we have a lot of proof for that kasi we outsource nga eh. So, meron tayo ng talent and ng artists. Meron din tayo ng audience, ng kumbaga ng community na mag-a-adapt nito. We have, a lot of Filipinos binge watch Netflix and read a lot of manga, watch a lot of anime, those otakus nga, and even like yung mga Comic-Con, attend those kind of events. So, meron yung dalawang aspect eh. No? Maybe ang kulang sama ko pa yung sa gitna, kumbaga yung channel, and maybe yung mag-build ka ng ecosystem to really connect these two and really for them to support each other. I think doon kayo papasok. I think doon din, yun din isang ginagawa ni Anavari Publishing ngayon. So like, really empowering also the artists and giving, kumbaga, Filipino audience, Filipino readers, really Filipino material, really Filipino output. Hindi lang puro manga and anime yung mga pinabasa at pinapanood natin. No? Meron tayong sariling atin. So is this one of the reasons pa why you started nga the company? So maybe
actually one of the inspiration I've got to build the Anavari Publishing. I don't know if this will sound really arrogant to you, but this is the real story. Like yes, na we support Marvel. Yes, we support DC. Yes, totoo, meron tayong sarili. Hindi ko sinasabing, bakit Victor, meron naman tayong Captain Barbell. That is true. I do not deny that, and they were our OGs of the time. But I'm looking for something that could represent us on the offshore communities. You know, I have a startup background ever since, and I have been obsessed with startup companies kahit nung younger days ko. So, you know, to give you a small history about Anavari, yung original partners ko actually, hindi sila co-founder, hindi sila Chris. It was just me and another artist from DeviantArt. So, although hindi kami nagtagal because of conflicts of ideas sa work, so he decided to do his own thing and I decided to do my own. And I grabbed someone who is really willing to get the idea running and try to translate it into to something that it could have a good fruition, no? So I met Chris. We've been friends for like since college. I told him like I pitched to him this idea, and he has a good business background. His family's in business. I'm like, bro, check this out. I'm doing this, blah 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 blah. And then I have a friend whose name is David. He's not here, and I have a friend named Melvin. He's our artist. He's the director for arts. He's actually listening now. So, you know. And then before I met them, I made it clear to myself that Anavari will be a safe space for artists where they can actually co-publish with us. That's one. Like, I want to give them an avenue where they can like, yo, Victor, I got this character I made long time ago, but you know, I want to be with the group. Because the thing about some other artists is that minsan nakakausap at naririnig ko rin sila like, Zo, gusto ko talagang actually maggawa kasi kinakabahan ako. Wala akong kasama. So they have someone to run to. Like they have Anavari. Like, hey, pare, meron ako dito. That's why I started this company before. And they saw that. Chris and Dave and Melvin, they saw that vision. You should see Melvin. You should follow him. He's a really good artist. He's been an artist also for other indie comics, but he's mainly with us. So I wanted to give them that safe space, and yun yung ultimate vision ko mabigyan ng chance yung nang maayos yung mga artist dito. Tsaka eto hindi ko lang kasi masabi because this is a public media. Parang nasasaktan ako na bakit ang nakikinabang iba. You get my point? Like, yes, I have nothing against Marvel and DC. I love them. I collect them. I have tons of collections of them here. Pero, why aren't we taking advantage of something we already have and giving it to others? So sabi ko, come on. I mean, like, wala ba tayong mga comic book company na pwede magbigay ng chance? So we did. So we started with this. And hopefully, we'll be able to give that avenue to the artists. If they want to be part of us, wala naman kaming problem doon. All you have to do is just send an email, chat us, like, hey bro, I want to be part of your team. Okay naman, sige. But maybe we could reconsider them. Kasi lately nga may lumapit sa amin a group of a non-profit organization. I just can't disclose it yet. Kay Chris, no? And these are a group of artists that wanted to hop aboard Anavari. They saw us. And then sabi nila, we wanted to show you what we got, show you the heroes and skills. So after ng podcast, prioritize lang muna namin to si startup. So next week, we will be also talking to them.
Oh.
So, yeah. You know, yun yung pinaka-huge take ko why Anavari was built. Just for your information, kaya Anavari siya. Anavari. Anavari means all new and various comics. Kaya Anavari.
Okay. Yeah, that's really interesting, no? And maybe and hopefully we get more artists pa to join the Anavari Universe. I want to know naman, Chris, thoughts kung bakit nga ba talaga pumayag si Chris na sumali sa or to build Anavari with Victor. Yeah.
No alcohol involved naman yung niyaya niya ako. So, kasi back then, when he pitched me the idea, hindi comics ang pinag-aatupagan namin na So, it was actually the mining. So, crypto was booming back then. So, wala lang, nagmamine lang kami kahit hindi naman ganun kalakas yung rig, nag-experiment lang kami, nagtatry mag-trade doon sa blockchain. So, then he pitched me the idea na, hey, what if gawin nating gumawa ng comics? So, hindi pa uso NFT nun. There was no NFT back then. Kasi recently lang yun. So, it's more of the idea, try gawa tayo ng publishing. So, let's make a publishing na sa atin. So, back then, nag-struggle pa kami dun sa identity. If it's gonna be a book, it's gonna be a comics. So, we tried writing novels surrounding Uragon. So, nadami kaming Google Docs na kung paano magsulat ng libro, ganyan-ganyan. So, we wrote the background of Uragon. So, and I think it's the love for comics that brought us together ni Enzo to make something, let's make something local. Kasi, mayaman ang Pilipinas when it comes to lore. You just know how to look. Mayaman sa history actually. And we have a really diverse thoughts and ideas and culture that you could adapt into comics. So back then kasi ang kinokolekta ko lang nun Marvel eh. So wala din akong idea then about Filipino comics. So imagine ganun, hindi na ma-market ang Filipino made. So ang 13 ngayon ko lang din nalaman yan. Pero ang tagal na niyan actually. So ako avid collector ako, meron akong Deadpool, I have Miss Marvel. Hindi pa yung Marvel na short hair, yung Marvel na 2006 na long hair pa. So, and Thunderbolts kasi parang naumay ako sa Avengers and I wanted something different, something much relatable. So, meron din ako Thunderbolts. So, ito yung mga kinokolekta ko noon. Then Enzo came up like, try magtayo tayo ng comics. So, he just brought it up. He was planning, may idea siyang ganito. And sige, I'm in. Wala namang mawawala kung susubukan, di ba?
Yeah, okay. Yeah. It's really nice. It's really nice kumbaga mission that you have for the Filipino art industry. Let's start wrapping up this conversation. Maybe Victor can answer this last question. So, like ano lang ba yung parang vision or parang nakikita nyo into the future with Anavari Publishing and the Anavari Universe? Like ano yung parang grand plan nyo? Can you just I mean maybe not really unveil everything na, pero just give us a glimpse para alam namin yung ano yung aabangan namin into the future.
Since for the listeners, I'm gonna go all out na rin because Sir Johnny Boydon deserves a really good answer and his show is very respectable and he deserves a good answer. My vision for this company, the whole groups on behalf of them, I really want this comic book ambitiously, yes, I would say that, to be either a Netflix series or a Hollywood movie. That's what I really want. Something that could really represent us on the offshore. Not just represent. One of the things that you should really watch out for is our team is looking to diversify its heroes. Like, hindi lang siya galing all centralized in one country. It's gonna be multiple countries of heroes. Because ako, ang firm belief ko, hindi lang naman sa mga major countries ang gagaling ang heroes eh. Heroes comes from everywhere, even to the poorest of dumps. Heroes can come out of it. That's one thing you should watch out for. And we're trying our best to make it a really great story. One is yung gusto talaga namin maging well-produced na comic book company na we could partner up with major movie producers or Netflix or Amazon Prime or HBO. That's one. Just to give it just to put it in a nutshell. Number two, we want to be hindi ko alam kung mag-reach yung biggest, pero a well-established NFT company na people could follow. They could trade our materials with value na pwede mong sabihin na, uy pare, ganda ng Mercedes-Benz mo, I'll trade you this really rare Uragon
wow.
NFT that's only like 50 out. So parang ganon. Can become a currency for trading, no? Kasi eventually, doon na naman pupunta yun eh. So for me, that is the grand vision of the Anavari. But most of all, the biggest vision I have for this company is to give artists and writers in the Philippines a shot at the entire yung industry of movies. Kasi ang dami ang hirap eh. Yeah. And that's what we're trying to achieve. So I want them to have a safe space where they can actually write. So that's what I want to provide for them.
Yeah. So Anavari is really it's an indie comic publishing company nga. So meron on that part and even going into the NFT space. Pero really I think really ang vision niya really is to empower and even to showcase that Filipinos, and actually not just Filipinos, artists
in general.
Artists in general can do what they do, can produce art, can maybe inspire people, can bring out really good stories. And I really hope that Anavari Publishing can help this artist para mas mabigyan ng support that they really deserve. So, kaya maraming salamat Victor and Chris for this conversation about Anavari Publishing and about the universe and about our plans pa in the future. So, if our listeners want to know more about Anavari, maybe they want to join the Facebook groups or the community, or maybe they're an artist and they want to join the ecosystem. So how can they get more information? Where can they join? Yeah.
You could always check us out on Facebook on Anavari Publishing. You could just type Anavari Publishing and you will come out. If you see that logo of a pen that has a sword in the middle, that's our company logo. And you can check us out on our Instagram because we post our Linktree accounts in there. And all of the social platforms that we'll be posting are all posted there. You can catch us also on Twitter. Just type in Anavari Publishing and we're there.
Yeah, all right. So, maraming salamat, Victor and Chris. Thank you for this conversation.
Thank you so much, Johnny.
Thank you.
Thank you very much to our 21 patrons. AskLexPH is our official e-learning partner. Get 5% discount on e-learning courses and certification programs on Lean Six Sigma, project management, data science, and many more using our promo code ALPHAXSUP. This episode is super powered by NutriCoach, the all-in-one productivity tool for dietitians and nutritionists. Looking for buy and sell online with Sigurado sellers. Benjoy's Food Products, the home of premium bacon ends, tapa, and tocino. And 8Chain, an 8-in-1 cryptocurrency project building one chain at a time, starting with max rep workout and earn. This episode is powered by ePlayment, Interleukin, and ROC.ph. Support us at www.patreon.com/startuppodcastph.